Hello everyone, so today I'm going to tie what's called a machine gun potbelly pig. Materials is a 10mm shrimp tube from Frankenschneider, 1.8mm inner liner and a bit of hook tubing. Semperfli 80 thread as usual, so first thing to do, we just start a little ramp from the tube onto the other tube, and that helps make a wee transition from the metal to the plastic. And then just quickly run your thread up. There's grooves in the tube which really help you to tie down. So first things first is some bucktail. I have mixed yellow, black and orange, and probably a bit more orange than anything. It's quite a dark fly, but this sits over the hook and creates a nice little target point and some movement. So that's too much. You just want a little bunch, not too much. That'll do. You can stack these if you want. I don't bother. I don't really like neat flies. So this is probably twice the length of the back of the hook tubing, and that'll flutter about. And on these little tubes there are grooves, like I said, so I tend to leave the last groove empty or your dressing starts to slip back. So just quickly tie that down nice and tight. So there's just a few strands of yellow, a few strands of black in there, that's fine. And then we want some flash. You can put whatever flash you like in. I've got this black and red stuff I quite like. Just for a change, it's just to keep the fly kind of with the dark theme. So double that over. Tie it in, and we basically trim all the materials about halfway down the tube, and that helps us create the carrot shape, which the tube already has, but it accentuates it. So I'm just going to put 2 strands of orange in as well. This is just standard crystal flash. It works well with bucktail tails. There we go, a nice slim tail with more flash than I would normally use actually, but I'm just tidying this up because we don't want steps in the dressing. So that's good. Then we are looking for boar bristles. These are small and they're dyed in Willie Gunn colour. Get these from Ryan Houston. And I want a fairly decent bunch of these. Just take the smaller ones out. And if you give them a little curve with your finger. The original actually had boar bristles out to about here, but I tried it with the smaller ones and I really liked it. So these are just the same length as the wing, but tied above the wing so they move a bit. And these can be very tricky to tie in, so just take your time and tie them in really tight. And then at the end I like to just bend them up so they bend up. And then just trim this away. That's our tail done, so just come down and get rid of this step. You use a lot of thread on these, but that's just the way of it. It's just the way to tie them. And then just for security, a little dab of super glue just at the end. So just fold the whole wing, the water will flicker that about. Then for the rear hackle, it's a black hen. This moves really well in the water. And you want it about, say, halfway into the tail. So just tie that on the side. Just come down, pull the end off and fold all that back. We're going to put this, pretty much the whole hackle on. This just adds a wee bit of movement. So just wind that on, just get as much of it on as you can. They're not very big hackles hen, but they really do move well. So just catch that in. Snip off, and then everything pull it back, and you want a turn over the whole lot. So I've tied it in a little bit forward, I should have said, and then you want to come back over it just to sweep it all back. And then we've got a nice little carrot shape. I'll just see a little step there, so I'm going to just go over it. Good. Then it's some oval tinsel. This is medium. You can use wire or whatever you want here. I like the silver against the black. So we're going to tie this on the bottom. Just sort that hackle out. So just tie that down securely. Oops. If your thread starts to slip, just put a bit of wax on it. And some black wool. This is just bog standard off of eBay black wool. And it's a 3 strand, I think, or 2 strand, sorry. Then just tie that basically to where your thread ends. Just get it on there tightly because we're going to pull it tight. And then come round. I'm pulling it just about as hard as I can So I turn one full turn at the back and then just come down and touch in turns. It's quite fidgety, but whoopsie, there it goes. It just wants to slip there, but I'll just hold that with my finger and come in with a tight turn in front and we're fine. My vise is falling off. So down, cover the whole tube and then lock it in. And snip off. Then take your oval tinsel and we want 4 or 5 turns down the body. I'm pulling this really tight. Don't worry about the mess at the head, we've got lots of material to go on there still. So that's good. Just make sure that's tied in. So the first neck hackle is a yellow cock. Now a smallish one, well not smallish, a small one from just on this cape, the very bottom of the cape there. So just tie that in by the tip. And again, just pull that off. It'll leave you a couple of fibres, fold them back. Quick way of doubling them on. And then just 1 or 2 turns depending on how it looks. It's just for a wee flash of colour, really. Yeah, that's plenty, so I'll tie that off. That was about 2 turns there, I think. It's a micro tube, so we don't want a heavy dressing on it. Great for low water and deep holes and spate rivers and things like that. So I'm just tidying that up. Then it's a slightly larger orange. This is still cock hackles. So again, down at the bottom of the cape. And just the same again here. So tie it on, give it a good half dozen turns, snip the end off, pull it back, and that's your hackle securely in. So just double it all. The yellow hackle's actually, it's pretty heavy for this fly, even though it was only 2 turns. So I'll just repeat that with the orange. I'm going to give the orange another turn actually, because it's a very strong yellow. So that's that one on. Trim that off. Just going to wax some thread here. Pull all that back. And then just trap it all down. The great thing about tying tube flies is you get away with a lot, so there's easier to tie than hooked flies in a way if you're just starting out. And the last hackle is black hen. And we want this just a tad longer if we can. And this, we're just going to give this one turn. So usual snip off, fold back. Just try and keep it neat because we're coming to the end now. We've got to get a cone on. So head's got a really much more solid colour than cock. Hackles. So you don't need to use as much of it. And there we go. And then just get this all tidied again. So just come back with your thread, say about 3mm, and then just create a little head there for the cone to sit on. And the last thing is 2 jungle cock eyes. Entirely up to you where you want them. I quite often tie with them down this way because the fish tends to see these side on. But we'll do it the traditional way, which is to a roof, if you like. I do like them quite long myself. I like them in about there, but you can tie them just as long as you like. But we'll do it my way because it's my fly. So just get them, on to start with, and then you can adjust them. You want them quite close together. It's just the way the fly is tied, and it's one of the most successful flies ever. The potbelly pig, not this one. This might be one day, you never know. So that's them, they're sitting nicely. Just tie all that in. And then just fold them into the hackles. And they'll flutter in the current as well. You can double the stalks over if you want, but we're just about to glue, so there's not a lot of point. So then we take our glue and apply a dab. If you do it on the tube, what you can do is just take 10 turns. 10 turns into the glue. Just count the turns and then 1, 2. That stops the glue seeping into the hackles. Snip your thread off, take your cone, slide the cone on. I'll just take it off of the vise just now. This is super glue gel I use for these. Takes a bit longer to dry, but it's less likely to soak into the hackles here, which is absolutely what you don't want. I've done it a million times. So just holding that cone on just now, and that should be it. Trim off 2 to 3 mil, and then just burr the end down. The original had a black cone actually, but I don't have any, so gold works just as well. I don't think the fish are too bothered about the cone. So there we go. That is a little machine gun. And I'll just give it a quick flick with the hairdryer because I know you all love that. So you can see it all of this kicks about in the current. It looks amazing in the water, and I'll get some underwater footage. I do a lot on Instagram if you want to follow me there. And thanks very much for watching. Goodbye.